He says it-
Recording in progress.
Yeah.
What do you do with the phone? Because he has full videos on. Well, that's- Doesn't work.
All right, it's 4 o'clock. I'd like to call the Thursday, June 27th council meeting to order. Would like to lead the flag salute. Ms. Snyder, would you like to lead the flag salute?
Sure.
If we can hear you.
I'll lead the
Hi, video.
Or Jake's gonna do your stead.
All right, perfect.
I
Thanks,
pledge
Jamie.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building, on the borough website, and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mrs. Ball Miller,
Here.
Ms. Lambert,
Here.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Here.
Ms. Snyder,
Here.
Mayor Davis. Ordinance 2024-22, bond ordinance authorizing various water system improvements by the water utility in and for the Borough of Beach Haven in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating $2,450,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,450,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof. The purpose of this ordinance is to fund the renovations of the water reservoir and elevated red tank of the Borough Beach Haven Water Utility. First reading. You guys have any questions about this?
Now, I did have somebody ask me, how much would it cost? And here's a left field question. How much would it cost to replace the whole tower? That's what I said. I said, I'm sure it's beyond prohibitive, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
I don't even think our engineer would consider it.
No, well, that's what I said. I think it's the basic structure. It's the work that has to be done around it. So
Yes.
even though this is a lot, it's still probably
So
a bargain.
we talked quite a bit and we did hold the public hearing on the long-term asset management. So in order for us to award that, to make application to the local finance board and award the contract, we need to have the capital portion of the agreement in place. We did have some of the funds already allocated. Originally, the reservoir work we were going to be doing in-house. So we do have some of the funds set aside. So you can see the amount is a little bit less than we originally anticipated.
Okay, thank you. And I was just curious. I had no answer for them, so.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve ordinance 2024-22?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
yes.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Thank you. All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure supported by a certification of availability of funds and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 148, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the state fiscal year 2025 road reconstruction project, Amber Street from Bay Avenue to the ocean front in the amount of $527,820. And Resolution 150, authorizing an executive session to discuss ongoing litigation, the Batista et al. Case. And we will be entering into the executive session after public business before we go into final remarks by council. So you will have a chance to speak before we go into closed session. Any council wish to request any of these items for discussion?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
A second.
Mrs. Ball-Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Yes.
Ms. Snyder.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to the 2024-2025 ABC liquor license renewals. Resolution number 148. Approval to submit, granting a liquor license to Seashell Club, Inc., trading as Seashell Resort and Beach Club with special conditions. We have met quite a bit. We've discussed it. At this point, the teen night language, I think, has been removed. And special condition number 16 is being proposed. All live outdoor entertainment will end at 11 p.m., 7 days per week, period. Any discussion from council?
Yeah, basically, I'm sorry, just.
That's okay. I mean,
A minute.
did you want to start down that end? Because
Yeah,
there
go
was
ahead.
some,
Yeah, go ahead.
we do need to discuss it because we don't, either you do the special condition or you don't. I know some council members were not in favor of adding it and just seeing how it goes. So let's discuss.
So we're talking about the show.
Yes.
Okay, right now, I know the owner of the show doesn't really want the special condition on his liquor license. I listen to the music, so I'm very familiar with it. I think we should, before we put the special condition on, I think we should go through this summer and see if he can turn, so far he's been turning the music off at 11 o'clock. I hear the music and I hear it go off at 11 o'clock. And it's pleasant because I don't usually go to bed till it's after 11. I trust him to do this. I think we have a better chance of enforcing this because I think we will have a lawsuit if we do put the special conditions on. Let's see if he does continue turning the music off at 11. And if he doesn't, let's make sure if there's a legitimate complaint that we write summons, we give him a ticket or whatever it is. If the complaint is legitimate, and if we have garnered 5 or 6 actual complaints that by the end of the year, then I think next year we should put the special condition on his liquor license. But I think at this point in the time, I think it's probably better to trust him to turn that music off at 11 o'clock at night. And if he doesn't, and if he gets a lot of summons relating to this, I think we have a very good case before the ABC board to make sure that this stops. But I do believe in second chances, and I do believe that I really don't want to incur a lot of expense in legal fees. And I think we can do this amiably. And that's my feeling. I'd rather give him the liquor license with the condition between us, not written into nothing on special conditions on his license, that he will turn that music off at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And that's all music. That's not, it's all music, correct?
Live
Music.
music.
Well, if I start hearing a lot of music coming in my bedroom from real loud,
You won't be able to
I'll
hear
let
from
you
the
know.
houses that it's impossible.
I haven't yet. I mean, and it's been really windy. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of it. I mean, I hear a lot before 11 because it's been so windy. But I think you're trying.
Janie?
I agree with Nancy. I think that the Hughes family took a really proactive approach coming to council. And ever since the last meeting there, I was at the neighborhood watch meeting, me, myself, and I, and no one was there complaining about noise. I was speaking with the officers that were ready to go on duty at 6, and they were, very, I don't want to say enthused, but they didn't say anything about any problems with music or any complaints. So thank you for that. So I don't see any reason why to put something in a liquor license when you're making strides to improve. And this is the first time that I've been on council where we've ever had to acknowledge something from the shell. So I don't see any problems with what you were Sang.
I agree with you, Jamie. I agree with you, Nancy. Colleen and I met with the Hugheses. Can you hear me?
Go ahead
Yeah.
now.
Oh, sorry. I agree with Jamie. I agree with Nancy. Colleen and I met with Tom and his two daughters. And I've known Tom and the Hughes family for a long time. And I trust that they are of, their word. And I think that he has, as Jamie noted, they have really, they are responding to the concerns and the complaints and the needs and of the town, and for a bar to agree to stop live music after 11 o'clock, I think is very generous. I know that, some of you who might go to bed before 11 may not be happy with that, but I think it's very reasonable. And they assured us that the music that they would possibly have on after 11 would just be background music and nothing more than the conversational level. So I believe that we should give them this summer to see how it goes. And I know not everyone will be happy with this without a special condition, but I think it's the right thing to do. And I agree. I don't really want to incur any more legal fees at this moment. Thank you.
Okay. As you just heard, I was at the meeting. We had a special meeting with the Hughes family, Kitty, the chief, Sherry, and I was appreciative of the fact that there was, as Jamie called, the proactive approach, because obviously this was a contentious matter that people were not sleeping, and I get that. That's tough. And the Hugheses, I think, being the good neighbors that they want to be, reached out and they went to both condos associations, and their leadership agreed also. And I think that they have a chance to say, to show us, and I believe they will. So I am in favor of not putting any conditions on.
Okay, this one's a tough one for me. I've known the users for a long time. I respect them and I respect their word. As far as shutting down the music, I know he said he will do it, and I'm sure he will do it. I just have a problem where being fair with everybody in the liquor business, that there are restrictions on certain places, and they are in writing. And as far as I'm concerned, it should probably be in everybody's liquor license, so we don't run into these problems again. I don't know. Like I said, I do have a problem. I think it should be in all liquor licenses.
I agree with you on that. I think if we're going to have, restricting the music at 11 for one bar, I think it should be for all bars to be sell. But that's something we can talk about in the future, I think, because there haven't been a lot of, I've had some complaints about other bars, but there haven't been a lot. This has been the one that's been.
And this did all start before I came in.
Mhm.
So it was something that was in the works before I even got elected. So I guess we can give them a try.
But we can look in the future at
But that,
making this a condition for.
it should be for everybody.
It should,
If it's for one, it should be for all.
right. Another question I have, the noise ordinance is 10 o'clock on the nights besides Friday and Saturday. And I know you're saying 11, that doesn't bother me. It might bother some people. Maybe, I know you have a big event on Thursday nights and Saturday nights, but maybe you can try to keep the noise down a little bit.
Thursday and right now, we're actually slated all live music to stop outside at 9 p.m.
Okay, all right, good, thank you.
Okay, so we'll strike number 16. Do I have, I'm sorry that we did hold the public hearing on this liquor license at the previous meeting, so we won't be opening the floor for public comment on this license. Correct? Okay, so resolution 142, granting a liquor license to the Seashell Club, Inc. with special conditions. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Mrs. Ballmiller?
Yes.
Ms. Lambert?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
No.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes,
Sherry, could I
That is
just
approved.
also since we didn't bring this up and, I don't know which of the girls just mentioned it, but it is worth noting to the public that on not teen night, on, Thunder Thursday, on Thursdays, all live music will stop at 9 and be inside. So that is also a big, I think, a big concession for us.
Yeah,
That should be noted. Thank you.
that's what they agreed to.
Can you come up to the microphone and just state that fact for the record so we have it out there about 9 o'clock?
Yeah, so just out of curiosity though, I mean, if we were to move that musician back
Oh,
to
yeah, because
11,
I can't
it
hear.
would be allowed.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Okay, so as of right now on Thursdays, we have music from 3 to 6, 6 to 9 on, and then a DJ was supposed to take over from 9 until 1. We canceled that DJ. The DJ now is only inside. But what we're saying is that if every other night of the week, we are going to move forward with this ending live music at 11, then if on Thursdays we did switch that till 11, we probably won't, but because once people come in for the nightclub, they don't want to hear an acoustic act anymore. I'm saying that we,
So basically what you're saying is any music after 11 on Thursday night goes inside.
right now, any music after 9 PM on Thursday night goes inside. However, what I was saying is that if we did switch that to push that musician to a little bit later, say 10 o'clock or so, it would never be 11 o'clock on a Thursday because we're so knee deep in Thunder Thursday that they're looking for a different style of music at that
There's
point.
no specific prohibition in the license.
No.
To answer your question.
Yes, okay, perfect.
Okay.
Is that all?
I think that we would prefer it ending at 9, however. Yes, I would.
Okay, resolution 143, granting a liquor license to Tucker's Restaurant Inc. with special conditions. They have recently been given approval by the Land Use Board to install outdoor seating on the east side of the building. That Land Use Board approval required some items from them that we felt be important be included in the resolution. So I'm proposing to add number 16, which says food consumption and service of alcohol on the east side outdoor patio shall close at 10 PM every day but Friday and Saturday, when the hours shall be expanded to 11 PM. That was transposed from the Land Use Board resolution right into this. And then live music on the east side outdoor patio shall be dictated by the Land Use Board approval 2022-09 and include any subsequent changes made by the Land Use Board. Some of us had spoken about the outdoor music being addressed in the Land Use Board resolution was up for interpretation and it might be reconsidered by the board and possibly changed. So we thought this was the best way to do it so that if it is tightened or relaxed by the Land Use Board, whatever is in effect, that's what will be in effect here.
Well, you and I spoke about it and I said I felt that was the fairest way to go. I mean, it's unfortunate there was the ambiguity in the first place, but we will get it cleared up. And then this was their resolution, which a lot of these are Land Use Board. And then, so I think that's the way to go.
I agree. I mean, again, we're an autonomous group. They are an autonomous group, and I think that this just makes sense.
Thank you. You guys think?
I have nothing. I
Yeah,
think
that's
I'm
fine.
fine.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion on 143 then? Tucker's liquor
I'll make a
license?
motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Baumiller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Yes,
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes,
I have a bill list this evening in the amount of $1,407,258.62.
is there a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
second,
Mrs. Baumiller,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey,
yes,
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes,
We have 3 items under general discussion today. The first one is a continued discussion about zoning in the business district and possibly some prohibited uses. We did meet today, myself and Jamie and Bruce, to discuss it. Did you want to talk about our
Sure.
idea? We want to garner some support from council before we proceed.
Right. So this again is just a preliminary discussion with new council members. Previously, we were proposing an ordinance for some restrictions at the current business district, because currently in the business district, every use is allowed. Single-family homes, duplexes, multifamily, hotels and motel, everything is allowed in the business district. And so with the increase in development, and property values increasing, the fear is to ultimately that the business district would become fragmented enough where it would be not as is now, and it wouldn't be not a walkable district any longer the way that it is. And so originally that was kind of a little bit too much, I feel like, for a lot of the business district to agree with, and even members on council. So Nancy and I, we are looking through the different zones and kind of cleaning up a lot of the different definitions. And again, we started discussing about the business district, and what we came up with is a possible overlay zone, where this overlay zone would be from 12th Street until the north side of Amber Street. So it wouldn't include Rommel's and South, because a lot of single-family homes really start after Amber Street, and there's also larger lots and, you know, things that could be more likely single-family home development. But really, this kind of downtown overlay zone is really what we would want to protect, still allow all of the current uses except single-family homes, duplexes, multifamily without a commercial component, and hotels and motels. So if we were to move forward with something like this, it would be a lot of man work. It would be, we would have, you know, notifications and meetings and different that. So we're not going to move forward with that unless we have the support of council, and not just, you know, myself moving forward with this. I personally think that this is the best way to go. It will protect a viable business district and a smaller area, again, from 12th Street to Amber Street, and just those properties, those lots that are abutting the boulevard. So it wouldn't include businesses that are currently in the business district. They'll still be in the business district, still everything goes, but this overlay zone, direct businesses on Bay Avenue from 12th Street to the north side of Amber Street would be prohibited: single families, duplexes, multifamily without a commercial unit, hotels, motels. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did I explain that?
Yeah, yeah, good.
I think, and I think we have to be, I mean, already I'm hearing people telling me, oh, I hear that we're talking about.
I don't know how.
Not, well, letting people in the business district sell their houses as single family homes. And I thought I was safe from that, but now it's coming back to haunt me. So I think what's triggered this is the fact that Schooners were for sale. And that's a large piece of property, and we don't want to lose at least a part along Bay Avenue that has a business component. We really, the thing that makes Beach Haven different than every other municipality in the island is we have a business district, and people like to come here because of that. And it's nice to be able to walk to places. And I think we need to work with people to make them understand, business owners, we need to get the support of the business. Unknown caller. Sorry. Anyway, so basically, you know, I think we have to work very carefully with business owners. And I know Sherry mentioned today that the idea of getting a consultant in to look at this and see how other towns have done it.
A planner, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want people to lose the value of their property. And that's a huge issue for a lot of people. But, you know, basically, if you kept the component along Bay Avenue and let them develop the sections that go either to the east or the west, they ought to be able to do pretty well, as the Silver Sun is doing now. And the nice thing is they are putting 5 single family houses. So they will make money on that, and they'll make money on mixed use situation as well, but we still have the business district. And I mean, a lot of people say to me, well, gee, why do we need to do that? Beach Haven, there are a lot of nice new businesses now in Beach Haven, and there are, but it's hard work. I mean, we worked really, really hard to get that Jersey Girl foster situation solved. I mean, this didn't just happen because somebody wanted to do it. It happened because people on council really worked hard to talk to people and try to make this happen. And so I think that's what we have to do. We really need some outside help and guidance, and we have to work with the business people that are concerned about losing the value of their property to have them buy into it. And I would like to see it happen. I've lived here all my life, and one of the things that's been kind of interesting in the last few days, I've been getting a lot of old pictures of Casas. And I remember Casas as a little girl when they had gas pumps, right? It wasn't a real gas station. I have a picture of it back, must be before the Second World War, where the corn, where it says Casas Brothers, and then there's a couple gas tanks there right on the boulevard, and then it evolved over time. But we really have a rich history here of having a business district, and I'd like to make sure that remains. And so hopefully, it's hard work, but I think we can make it.
Okay, I'll jump in. Jamie and I were in the middle of this a few years ago, kind of had our heads handed to us because we wanted to do something proactively to save the business district. And, the business owner said, you can't tell us what to do. That's wrong. And I do see their point of view. When you watch some other towns on the island that are completely giving up their stores, it's kind of scary. But again, it comes down to, will they be able to run viable businesses? I think right now we are in a pretty good place. But when you look around, especially on the mainland, you see all those empty stores coming in. That's scary too, especially with a seasonal business. I don't mind exploring this farther and seeing, maybe getting the planner in. And I do think we really need to reach out carefully. The business community, it was one of their biggest complaints last time, is that they were in the dark and we sprung it on them. And then Jamie and I met with them how many times privately? We had a special meeting. We had regular meetings. I mean, it took up a good deal of the winter. And at the end of the day, it kind of didn't go anywhere. So I'm willing to explore this again. I think, as you say, the property is super valuable. We all know that, and see what they want to do with it.
Yeah, I'll respond. I think it's definitely important to look into this, to speak to the right people about it, to make sure if in fact it does move forward, that we get it right. Most importantly, and I spoke to Sherry about this a little earlier, and she said to me that we are the most importantly, we will make sure that it is not a quick, move it through quickly kind of a thing. This has to be spoken about with the business owners a lot, and hearing them and getting their input and just making sure that it's for the right reason and we get it right. I think it is a good idea to a degree, because I think it would protect, every town. I think it's very important to protect your business district. When you have a short season as we do, I also worry that if we force our businesses, what is mostly our current business district to remain commercial, that it may not be sustainable down the road. But I know that if an owner wanted to go to the land use board and ask for a variance, it's not like the be all end all dead end for owners. There are ways to get special permission, things like that. These are the types of things we need to discuss, that I need to have a clear head about, to learn about, and to get a vision of the whole picture. So I definitely would like to look into it to protect our town. I think a lot of LBI is becoming, it's sad. It's just another reason they're all coming to Beach Haven because there's nothing to do in their town. But I just think it's important for Beach Haven and for the rest of the island, and I'd like to protect what we have in Beach Haven, so. That's it.
Yeah, I definitely think we should look into it. Basically, the business district does make up a good part of Beach Haven. And that's, again, that's why a lot of people come here. If we didn't have the business district, I mean, you would look at rents going down and, you know, we wouldn't have the people that we have. So I definitely think we should look into it and see what we could do about it, keeping it as business.
I mean, maybe during open discussion, if somebody in the audience or the.
Nancy, could you speak into the microphone?
Oh, shit. I can't hear anybody, so maybe during the open session, if people in the audience or on Zoom want to speak, to get their ideas as well would be helpful. We can just move on to the next.
Okay. All right, the next item under general discussion, I just wanted to give you a heads up that we will be renewing or looking at renewing the lease with the fire company for the EOC property. Executing the lease will require an ordinance. So I just wanted to give you a heads up for that. We're looking at a 2-year lease, not if I'm correct. Yes, Adam has reviewed the proposed lease, a 2-year lease, and then hopefully when the renovations are complete, I think we should come to the table again and renegotiate the lease, hopefully with more amenities and more requirements and maybe some supervision. And we don't know what's all going to be required once the facility is renovated and open again. So we'd like to do 2 years and then come to the table again. Any concerns with that?
And just on the off chance that it's ready before 2 years.
2 years goes by pretty fast.
Well, we were hoping to be ready by next year. Now it sounds doubtful, so that wouldn't be a problem.
No. I think the most recent timeline I saw for completion was 12 of 25, so that's possible.
Hmm.
So we'll see.
12 of 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next item under general discussion, I just wanted to mention that in January, when the sewer ordinance that we wrote took effect, for billing purposes, it essentially adopted the same rate schedule as water. Literally, if you go to the sewer chapter, it will refer you back to chapter 212, which is water. Unfortunately, the rent collector understood that the word same meant that it would stay the same as sewer authority was charging. So since January till now, the bills have been with the lower quarterly minimum than was dictated in the ordinance. I was written into the ordinance that it was supposed to be 125 base minimum per quarter. The sewer authority is charging slightly less. I think it's what, 121, something like that, right? You guys pay your sewer.
That's what,
Yeah, sound about right. So we wanted to discuss it because we're going to have to change the ordinance. Either the sewer collector will have to notify residents that, there was a mistake, that the ordinance actually says that the rates are supposed to be identical, or we go back and change it back to what the authority had. Shari Bowler felt that a rate increase was not the best way to go, that she would have some upset folks. But we all understood that that additional $4 or so per quarter that we were collecting was going to build a bank that we were going to utilize to update and maintain the laterals. Remember, we talked about how bringing that up was going to generate a little pot for us that we could use to update the laterals. However, we haven't seen a huge need for lateral replacements. I think it's been almost a year that we've had the utility and we've only done a handful of laterals in-house. Where we do see an uptick in lateral replacements is when we do a capital project. We make sure that we add laterals into the capital project. So Shari wanted you to be aware, and I wanted you to be aware that this is an issue, but she was requesting that we go through the next billing. It'll be coming out shortly. That will end the year for sewer and do an analysis and take a look at where we are with revenue and expenses and come back to you with a proposal. And we might be looking at rolling back the rates for
That
sewer.
makes sense. I mean, because we can't really make a decision without having data. We need data.
That's
Makes
fine.
sense to me.
Okay.
All right, that's it, Nancy.
I'm now opening the floor to public comment, and the Zoom. So if you want to make a public comment, come forward and state your name and address, and you may speak to anything.
Hi, I'm Kathy King, 326 3rd Street, Beach Haven. And I was listening to your debate about the business district, and I thought back to when the master plan was drawn up. And at that time, there was a consultant who gave advice and what they thought plus and minus about how to use the business plan area. And it had to do with whether it could be turned over to residential use or not. And so you might want to look back and see what that person said. And what I remember of it was a quote that he said, if you if you allow your business district to revert to residential, you will become a bedroom community. And that is something to think about. And so I don't see why stopping this overlay at Amber Street makes any sense when the business district on that side of Bay Avenue definitely goes all the way down to Pearl Street, and across the street there are businesses. And so it also gives an advantage to people who can turn their property over to the more lucrative residential use. So you really have to think about a lot of factors before you decide that. But I don't see where stopping it at Amber Street makes any sense.
I think she was referring to Jim Alley.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and
Him saying that.
just to clarify, Kathy, we previously, when we introduced this a few years ago, I went through the whole entire master plan and verbatim, I mean, I went through every time that the master plan mentions a well-planned and thriving town center, preserving the integrity of the existing residential districts, balancing business and residential development, comprehensive recognizable tourist destination, and promoting mixed-use developments. I mean, I went through the entire master plan, and it does multiple times talk about a well-planned and thriving town center. So we did consult the master plan previously. And the whole reason for creating more of an overlay zone to Amber Street is that's really where you start to have multiple single-family homes on the west side down until Pearl Street. So that's why creating more of an overlay where there is actual walkable business district would help gain support of the entire business district. So trying to really come up with a plan that was different than before. So again, we will take all that in consideration with the business district, but it's always tough one with them.
Anybody else in the public want to speak? Anybody on Zoom want to speak?
Mary Lee Gaffney.
Hi, this is Mary Lee Gaffney. I'm at 16 Second Street. I just first want to say how disappointed I am that, it's clear that the town doesn't really listen to people who are paying taxes, and except if you're a business and the business wins no matter what. And that was very, very disappointing to me. But I am also wanting to know what is the update on ordinance 2024-20C, and where does that stand? Or is that just going to go through without, behind the scenes with other people as well?
What ordinance is 20C?
It is amending chapter 111 hotel and motel bed and breakfast room occupancy tax.
That is up, it is available for public review right now, and it will not be presented for a public hearing or final vote until our next meeting in July. So you can get copies of it right now for review, and then you can speak at the public hearing at the next meeting.
Okay.
Why?
Which probably won't make a difference. But anyway, let me ask a question, a clarifying question about the ordinance, because I have read it. And I just want to make sure that this is the same as the state law, so that if you rent your unit through VRLBI, which is a direct person-to-person rental versus Airbnb or Vrbo, it will not apply to people who rent directly. Is that accurate?
That is not how I understood it. I understood that if it was rented through an online marketplace, it would apply.
So VRLBI is considered an online marketplace, even though it's owner to renter direct. It's not Airbnb.
We're also going to continue to do our research. I may have to get back to you on that, but that is how I understood the definition of it. If you'd like to contact me in my office, this is Sherry Mason. You can give me a call and we'll look into it further.
That would be great. I did check it with Dwayne Watlinger, and he said that it would have to follow the state law, and so they should not be included. But yeah, okay. I'll give you a buzz directly on that.
Thank you, Mary Lee.
Thank you.
Amanda Burden.
Hi, it's Amanda Burden, 218 Amber Street. I just wanted to say a couple things. I think I totally agree with the business district, and I understand we have to be sensitive and support them in some way. It's very hard to run a business, but it's so important for what Beach Haven is and the amazing feel of Beach Haven, the walkability of it, the family friendliness of it. And I am not sure how to get data on this, but I would be willing to bet that property values in Beach Haven are higher than in areas on LBI where they do not have a business district, and rents are higher, and rent activity is more robust because of this business district. So I don't know what could be done. I understand property tax abatement may not be allowed, but if something could be done to make to help the businesses that they can only have these 3 months of a season, it would be amazing to keep this business district. I think that is one of the huge threats to Beach Haven. The second threat, and I think we should probably save our money for it, is this wind industrialization of the ocean that's planned. And I suspect that's going to be a very expensive fight. And I am just curious about how it is that the town, and maybe there's not enough time to explain this now, but how it is that the town decides when to go with pursuing a lawsuit and when not to. It felt to me, and I know I don't know all of the issues, but it felt to me that there was really this
What was the question?
money legally for that. And I don't know, that was the best use of our funds when this.
Amanda, are you talking about the turbine litigation?
Yeah, the turbine litigation. I think that's
Okay,
gonna
so the lead agency for that legal matter is Long Beach Township, and they approached the other island municipalities and a couple of island municipalities off of Long Beach Island, and their shared agreement to enter into that lawsuit was presented to the full council for a vote, and we had a consensus vote. That is how.
I fully agree with supporting Long Beach Township and I think that's what I'm saying is we should save our money to fight that fight, because that will change Beach Haven in ways that I don't think we can even imagine. And I think
we are participating.
But right, I guess I'm just curious about the holiday snack bar, and I really appreciate that you guys voted to avoid a lawsuit with the Shell. These are just, I would just save our money for this windmill fight, as opposed to spending it on these other lawsuits. That's all I'm saying. Is I guess I was asking how it is those decisions get made. This is important enough, we're willing to risk a lawsuit, And I kind of agree that team night is probably important enough to risk a lawsuit. Because I hear that. But I'm not sure if the holiday snack bar thing, and I really appreciate your decision about this, Shell, and I'm sorry for the people who've had to deal with the noise, and I hope that it is getting better as was promised. But I definitely appreciate you saving the money to fight this windmill fight, because that is going to be really something. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry, I can't hear the gentleman.
How about now?
Thank you. Yeah, great.
You're welcome.
Good.
Go ahead.
I just want to talk about the discussion for the EOC. Monday, we did put in our grant for the port security for a 28-foot fireboat again this year. Hopefully, we get awarded that. It'd be fantastic to help with fire suppression here in Beach Haven, all Bayfront homes, but also the surrounding communities. There's none protecting LBI period, but it would also be for the Bayfront. And I know the state's trying to put together a task force for fireboats. So it'd be nice that we'd be able to keep the fireboat at the bulkhead there at the EOC. I'm also hoping that the building goes through quickly, because it's hard to turn away people. Every time I have young people that ask if we have a live-in program because they're willing to volunteer, and we have no way to establish that, but we're just waiting time. So I thank you guys for all the hard work. I know that you guys, difficult decisions. You guys are talking about the business district and everything, and obviously the town's always changing. I remember when I was a kid, we had the pool hall, we had the movie theater, we had all kinds of stuff, and the town's just always changing. So I know that you guys have some tough decisions and everything, but you guys are doing a great job. The one other thing I did want to bring up real quick though is that summertime is here. We have a lot of people around. I need people that are driving on the roads to be careful. There's a lot of pedestrians out there. I also need pedestrians to watch for cars and stuff, not walk against traffic lights and everything. I know that there's been a few pedestrians struck along the island and everything. I need people that are going out to beaches to be mindful of the rip currents. They're very strong right now. There's been, not even with tidal waters, but there's been drownings within the state, within the county. So everybody that's going into the waterways, be mindful of the lifeguards that are on duty. Make sure that you're, staying within the boundaries and you're being safe. Just please be safe out there. That's all I'm asking. But thank you guys. I'm looking forward to the summer.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom?
That's it.
Okay, anybody? Let's call. Right, so I'm closing the door.
Thank you.
And
So at this time, we're going to go into the executive session. So we're going to leave the room, go into the side room. No formal decisions or actions will be taken during the closed session or after. When we come back in, we will just final.
remarks now.
If you have anything pertinent to say, absolutely.
Do you have anybody?
No, just please be careful. It's getting a little crazy out there already. And Ms. Burden mentioned about the turbines very quickly, July 1st from 6 to 8 at Bayview Park. Congressman Van Drew will be up there with several other dignitaries from Save LBI. And please understand, Save LBI is different from what the municipalities are doing. Municipalities are fighting on a state level. Save LBI is fighting on a federal level. Hopefully between the two of us, we'll get something done. Thank you.
Just, again, be careful. I know just around the corner from me, a bicyclist was hit. And it was very nice to see the community come together to help the young man who was hit and the people that were there. It's nice to see the community come together, even when wasn't a big tragedy, but it was something there. So you have to be careful. The bicyclists, you know what they're like. They're riding all over the place, Pedestrians just think that they have the right of way. So just be careful.
Jamie?
Good.
Kitty, do you want to say anything?
Well, I sort of want to parrot the theme of what you're all talking about, because I've just, this last week, and we're not even in the season yet. We are now, but we weren't last week. And the number of sirens and the number of calls, just, again, I'm just so grateful for our volunteers in this town and for our police force. Just please be careful, please be safe. I know sadly a gentleman was hit or fell off his bike, and an older gentleman. And I know that his daughter-in-law told me that if it hadn't been the first aid squad and for how quickly they took care of him, that he had a very minor brain bleed, and it was as a result of the care from our first aid squad. So I thank you to all of our squads and all of our organizations. Thank you. I also want to say a thank you to Tom and Margie Stewart. They have been longtime owners of Uncle Will's Pancake House and have sold it. And we have new owners who are actually the old owners of the Chicken or the Egg. So I welcome them, and I wish Tom and Margie Stewart the best in their retirement. They've helped many people through the years and been a wonderful addition to our business district in Beach Haven. That's it. Thank you all for coming.
That's the only thing I want to say is, if we can make it through the 4th of July, the rest of the summer will be good. I do
Amen.
not look forward to the 4th of July.
We'll make it.
But we know what's going to happen, and basically, so it'll be noisy and crazy. And my idea is just to stay on my porch.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think if Adam or Jim, if you wanted to take a second to do a PSA about the fireworks or anything that you want the public to know about July 4th, now's the time. Are you going to do a duet?
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. Do you want me to start?
Cool.
Sure. All right. Be careful with fireworks. Don't burn your fingers off. Please be safe. Don't burn anything. No fires. Don't shoot them at people. I could talk about this all day because 4th of July, we have a lot of fires and stuff. If you're lighting them off at the beach, please be careful because we have a lot of trash can fires. People throw them out in the trash cans and stuff. So let's be safe, everyone. Thank you.
That's why I let him go first. He said almost everything. We're definitely going to get calls for fireworks on the beach, and it always happens that it's up near the dunes. Stay away from the dunes, and if you do them, don't throw them in the trash cans afterwards because they always light on fire. We will charge people if we catch them.
And as far as Taylor Avenue area, that gets shut down, and the procedure is pedestrians exit first. All the cars stay put till everything's cleared out.
Same as last 40 years. Around 7 o'clock, we shut down the parking lot. No cars come in. It's then safer for the pedestrians. Pedestrians will be the first ones to exit. No cars will move. Once the pedestrians are clear, we'll start getting the cars out. Once enough of the cars have gone, we will let them take over themselves.
Very good.
The traffic jam on Atlantic Avenue on 4th of July.
It'll be
Unbelievable.
It'll be the same as it always is. We'll be sending cars up to Atlantic and Beach Avenue, sending them north on both of those streets until you get out of town and on the boulevard. So just try to pay attention if you are parked in the parking lot.
Chief, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you, I know last year you had an offer from other municipalities if we needed assistance with crowding and this and that. Do we have that option again this coming weekend?
We do. We have officers coming from other places. They've offered. Obviously, that is unless they're busy in their towns.
Right,
But,
of course.
A lot of the towns have offered. The sheriff's department has offered again. They're going to have people come down, and they're bringing the light tower down again,
Great, thank you very
and
much.
and a camera trailer,
Great,
the video trailer. So we're all set.
awesome.
Good.
Good luck.
Okay,
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go into our executive session.
Right, so we're gonna go into full session
Absolutely.
again. Right? No.
Okay, we are reconvening the public session at 5:38
Right.
PM. Did you want to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Alrighty, good, bye.
Bye, guys. Thank